Hey Brady, we're going to start soon, so just hang tight while we wait for other people to log in. For those of you that are just joining us, we'll begin in about a minute. We're just waiting for everyone else to get logged in, so just hang tight. Thank you. All right, so we have about half of our registrants logged in. We'll just give it 1 minute more, and then if not, we'll just begin in a minute just to make sure everyone can get all the information. So just hang on tight 1 more minute. All right, so it is 11:02 now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Aloha and welcome. My name is Connie. I am an admissions counselor here at the University of Hawai'i, Manoa. Today we have a warrior webinar with the topic of direct entry programs. So we have two special guests with us here, and I'll have them introduce themselves in a bit. So some of our majors at UH Manoa, you can apply to be part of their major. Some majors are not like open admissions or open enrollment. Some majors require certain requirements to get into that major. So we do have two of the most popular majors that have those prerequisite requirements. So you'll be learning about all of that today. So I'll go ahead and talk about the agenda for today, and then we can get started. In a little bit, I'm going to have our guests introduce themselves, and then we'll hear from Schuyler College of Business and about their direct admit program. And then we'll hear from the Nursing College of Nursing and Dental Hygiene, and we'll hear about the nursing's direct entry program. And then after that, we will have Q&A time. So with webinars, we do have Q&A functions. So instead of using chat, we're not going to use chat. If you can hover your mouse over the screen and click on Q&A, and then that's how we'll communicate. So any questions you have, you can go ahead and ask it in the Q&A. And at the end of the presentations, we'll go ahead and verbally answer for you. All right, so with that, I will pass it off to Shauna, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Shauna Pimentel Motaoka. I am the freshman admit advisor for the Schuyler College of Business. So I get to work with students as they are coming in, applying to Manoa, and then working with students for their first 2 years as they're part of the direct admit program. So sharing a little bit about the Schuyler College of Business. All right, so this is actually a picture of the Schuyler College of Business. We are located in pretty much the upper left area of the university. If you're familiar with the area, we're right alongside University Avenue. So we are consistently ranked in the top usually 15, for the best international business program in the nation. So that is from US News. We are also consistently ranked among the top 25% of AACSB accredited schools. So that may not mean too much to you yet, but this is an international accrediting agency. So this is a type of recognition that will give you, and your degree that you earn through us, recognition across the world. So these are the majors that we offer at the Scheidler College of Business. We have world-renowned faculty members that are known for their research, and some students worry that because we are one of the larger colleges on the University of Hawaii campus, that they might not have that much interaction with their professors. So I'm here to tell you, no, that's not the case. Many of our, or actually the majority of our classes are taught by professors. It's usually maybe just the very entry-level ones that you might also have a TA working with you on that class. So the most popular major at the Scheidler College of Business right now is our marketing program. And I think our marketing program is really doing some interesting things. They are looking at data and analytics in a big way and incorporating that into their curriculum. So it's really giving our students an edge because data analytics is really emerging and developing area. So they're taking all the data that's being collected on us, even when we're searching the internet and clicking on things, and that is allowing them to do really targeted, specific marketing to consumers. And so that is something that you'll definitely learn in that program. After that, our finance program is very popular. You may be wondering why we're called the Scheidler College of Business, and that's because in 2017, Jay Scheidler, donated about $228 million to the college because he's an alumni who really believes in the programs that we offer and really wants to fund our future for success. And so he was actually a finance major himself. So within the finance area, we have different tracks that you can focus in. It could be international finance, personal finance, real estate, and insurance. So lots of different options. And I did mention the international business major a little earlier. With international business, it is a double major. And the reason for that is that our faculty really feel that students don't necessarily get jobs just because they have an international business degree. And so they want our students to have a strong foundational area in one of our other majors. And then that international business is really just the bonus to make you more marketable. And with all of our majors, you have a chance to kind of explore them, especially with the direct admit program that I'll talk about a little later. Clubs is a large part of Scheidler life. So we have clubs for majors specifically, clubs for students who are just Scheidler students, and a few for exploratory students as well. And what's great about the clubs is they're really expanding your learning at Scheidler. So many of our faculty members really encourage our students to participate. Probably about 70% of our student population is involved in one of our student organizations. And they're doing great things like connecting you, networking with professionals. So it could be a case where you meet with a professional who's doing something similar to what it is you're interested in doing. So you can kind of pick their brain about what the best path is for you to also do that in the future. They're doing things like resume skills, they're doing interviews. Today, actually, our Scheidler College of Business is hosting our Internship and Career Expo. And so we have, through a virtual, about 30 different organizations that are doing presentations throughout the day because they are interested in getting our Scheidler students employed with them full-time or doing an internship in the semester. So right along into internships, there are over 300 different companies that are interested in our students. Typically, we have more positions open than we actually have students that are interested. Internships are not required, but definitely recommended. I have some freshmen that are kind of exploring their options, getting a feel for the major that they're interested in, and doing that as part of an internship. So they're really immersing themselves in that environment and seeing if it's something that they really enjoy. Frequently, internships are also used to help build your name within that industry, especially as you're getting ready to graduate. We have students who are frequently offered job opportunities once doing an internship with an organization. From last year's statistics, we have 88 to 90% of our students that are getting employment within 3 months of graduation. So definitely a great program. They can work with you as you are a freshman. So early is always good. They're always happy to see students early as you're heading into graduation, and they can still work with you once you graduate as well. These are some of the recruiters that actually come to campus to actively interview our students. We have an interview room on campus. And so we set that up. Students don't have to worry about trekking somewhere off campus. They can just come into our interview room. A representative from these companies are just a few that come and spend their time to work with our students. Financial support is a big part of the Scheidler experience. We have $1.2 million that were awarded to students last year. And so that is in the form of scholarships. So about this time every year, students will apply for the following year. And then they are donors, they are most of them alumni who really want to see our students succeed and remember what it was like when they were students. And so another thing that's coming up next month, we actually have a big event this year virtually where you get to meet the donors and talk to them and share your experiences. So that's something interesting that's happening. We have more than $70,000, which are then awarded in our business night. And so business night scholarships are actual checks that are handed to students for their use. And so these are students who have excelled in certain areas, different majors, and donors kind of pick different things that they want to see their funds go toward, but it is just for student use for whatever you need that term. And then we also have our study abroad opportunities. So part of that is the scholarships, which makes it a possibility for many of our students. And these scholarships are awarded about $5,900, depending on where you're going also. And they can take a big chunk out of your expenses, whether it's the flight out there or your housing while you're there. We can definitely work with you and find something that would allow you to participate in an abroad situation. So with our partnerships that we have established across the globe, it allows our students to go and spend, in most cases, a semester abroad. We have schools in Asia. Most popular ones in Asia is probably Japan and Korea, but we also have Hong Kong, we have Thailand, so lots of different options. In Europe, we have pretty popular is London. In the Pacific, we have Australia. So lots of different areas that you can go and spend a semester while taking business classes. So it's not going to slow you down in your 4-year plan. We can fit that in. Some of my direct admit students are actually interested in going to 2 places within their 4 years with us. So we're building that into their plan. Oh, and also I want to mention, as a business student, spending a semester abroad will also fulfill your Hawaiian second language or culture requirement for the university. So another big reason traveling abroad is definitely a big interest for our students. With the Freshman Direct Admit program, we review applications for the incoming freshman class. So if you indicate business on your application, that information will be sent over to us and then we'll review. We're selecting about 80 students to begin in their freshman year as a business student versus the more traditional route where students are accepted as an exploratory business students and then they would apply right before junior year. So those 2 different ways that you can join us at the Scheidler College of Business. We do have scholarships that are automatically, STEP students are automatically eligible for. And so once you apply and are accepted, then we are looking at how we can award those funds out. We have specific coursework for our students. So first semester, we already have our students in a Business 200 class. And this class is really touching on all of our different majors within the Scheidler College of Business. And so this can either really help solidify your decision in the major that you're interested in, or also help expose you to other things that you might not have considered. Something like management of information systems. Probably your high school doesn't offer anything like that. And so really just giving you the full view before you make a decision on what major you want to start going into. And then your second semester, you're doing a business law class specifically for DAP students. And in your sophomore year, you're already starting on your business core classes. So getting a jump start on your average student who cannot take those classes yet. And then you also have access to all of the different benefits from the Shidler College of Business, advising. So DAP students or the direct admit program students work directly with me, and we're building your plan. If it's graduating early, if it's going abroad multiple times, incorporating internships, fitting whatever it is you're interested in into your plan. We also have our career office that I mentioned is doing their career expo fair today, and then the study abroad and the funding that comes with it. So this year we are doing our selection process a little differently because the university is test optional. We are still holding on to our cumulative 3.5 GPA. If students have test scores, we typically like to see a composite score of 25 on the ACT and a combined SAT score of 1,200. If you do not have test scores, we will be sending out a personal statement. And so that is going to be on our website. We'll send the link out to students that are eligible. And then from there, we'll review for our incoming class. If you are not selected as a direct admit program student, there's still definitely the opportunity to join us later. These are some of the requirements for students to join right about the time they end sophomore year. And for that, they want to see at least a 2.5 and completion of these pre-business core classes with at least a C or better. All right, and there is my contact info. So please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. And I will stick around for questions at the end as well. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Shauna. Wow, that's very exciting. So yeah, Brian, if you want to go ahead and jump in.
Okay, my name is Brian, and I'm the pre-nursing advisor and admission specialist for the School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene. And these are pathways for our programs at the school. So we do have nursing as well as dental hygiene, both of which have direct entries. So we do have a direct entry for nursing as well as direct entry for dental hygiene if you're interested in those. We also have our traditional programs and continuation programs for students who don't get admitted to the direct entry program. The direct entry program is designed for students that are going to be coming straight from high school. So not taking a gap year, not currently in college, just high school seniors that are going to come straight to Mānoa. And it is a unique opportunity to enter and interact with our program. By this, we're talking about being taught by our faculty members, having access to our advisors for the program, having access to our nursing major and dental hygiene major scholarships and whatnot. So you are fully immersed as a full program student, not just a pre-program student. Just like the direct admit program with Shidler, the test scores will be optional this year. If the student does decide that they want to submit their application with SAT or ACT scores, they will just be collected for data purposes. So we won't be utilizing it towards the evaluation of an application. When we do have data from SAT and ACT scores, we'll send that off to various surveys like the US News World Report type of surveys to give them some data, but it won't be applicable towards your application itself. We do have a GPA requirement for application, and it is a 3.0 at the end of the junior year of high school. And we cut off at the end of the junior year because we do know that some schools across the nation, even internationally, their high school semester for fall doesn't end until after our deadline for application. So we know that if we cut it off at the end of the junior year, all students will be finished with their junior year and we'll be evaluating based upon that. The GPA is weighted. So if you're taking AP courses and whatnot, that extra point towards your GPA will be applicable towards this. We are also doing a holistic evaluation. We do not have a personal statement like how Shiler does. We do have various questions in our application that ask about things like, are you involved with the military? So if you have like junior ROTC type of experiences, that will be counted. We're also looking for academic and non-academic reference. And these are not letters of reference or letters of recommendation, rather. These are just basically list the name and the individual's email address, and our application system will do all the work for you. So what will happen is in the application, you list the name, you list the email address. When you submit your application, the Nursing Cast application system will send an email to that particular person asking them to complete a form, and that would finish your reference requirement. We will also be looking at life experiences, so anything extracurricular outside of the realm of academics. So healthcare experience, community service, any type of leadership that you may have had. All of those are grouped for the life experiences. And it's how we collect that information is within the Nursing Cast application. It's a free-form document that you can submit to us. So it can be in the form of an essay, it can be in the form of a resume, which most people do. They just want to outline what they've done, and that's totally fine. We'll evaluate whatever comes to us, but we're really looking for experiences or examples of what makes you a good person or a good fit to come into our nursing program. A lot of students say that they want to help people, but you can help people with any old major and any old school. So what we're really trying to do is align the student or the applicant with what the nursing program is and what the field is all about. This is a very basic summary as far as a comparison from the direct entry programs versus a traditional program. So one of the things that we want to always highlight is a number of applications that we receive. We can only accept a certain amount of students because we utilize the hospitals. So basically what that means for you is that you're competing against everybody else to get into this program for a very few number of seats that we have available. To give you real numbers, for the direct entry and nursing program, we typically have about 200 and 250 applicants per year. We are only able to accept about 36 every year. In comparison with our traditional programs, so those students that are not in the direct entry program, we typically have about 350 to 450 applications, and we only have spots for about 12 to 15. So we are a very competitive program, just sheer numbers wise. And then when we get to the academic components, you can see that the high school GPA is typically about a 4.0 for students that have been admitted to our program, versus a traditional college student who's taking college courses. Their GPA is about 3.9. The direct entry programs also utilize the learning communities for their first year, meaning that you won't have to worry about registering, which is the number one complaint that we get from our students that are incoming. They have the hardest time registering for courses because there's very few courses that are offered and very few seats that are open for incoming students. So what we do for our direct entry students is that we reserve your seat in those courses so that you don't have to basically compete with everybody else who's trying to get into the program. Our graduation time frame is 4 years. It's a very structured program, so there's no acceleration. You can't graduate early. You can't graduate late. It'll be a 4-year graduation. So in comparison to most of our other students in the traditional program, they're hovering around a 5 to 7 year average for graduation rate. And again, we also have the scholarships that are eligible, or the students that are in the direct entry program are eligible for our program scholarships because they are current nursing students or current dental hygiene students. And that is my contact information. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what, there. Okay, so that is my contact information. So if you have any questions, you can contact us via email. Right now, because most of us are working off campus, telephone probably wouldn't be the best bet for you. Emails we can get to regularly, or you can set up an appointment on Star Balance. The advising website is available there. So you can click on that website or go to that website and go to our Star Balance to set up an appointment with us. So if you have any questions that has not been addressed in this presentation, you're more than welcome to contact us out. Okay. Connie?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so we will go ahead and do question and answer. So we did have one question already that asked for Shauna for Scheidler. Who would they contact to make sure they're on track? These are high school students, so are you able to provide advising for prospective students?
Yes. So if you are interested in the Scheidler College of Business and the Direct Admit program, definitely feel free to contact me. You can email me at shaunaaap@hawaii.edu. I can also send you the link to my Star Balance so that you can make an appointment with me and we can chat for a half hour if you want to and talk about what you're working on now and if that is going to help you once you get to Scheidler as well.
Brian, I guess we can ask the same question. So your last slide was about making an appointment. You can also meet with prospective students too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So for those of you that are still in high school that want to reach out, so after you talk to admissions and you figure out like, yes, I'm going to apply. Now I want to talk to someone in my potential major. It is good to know that with nursing, dental hygiene, and with any of the business majors, you can, as a high school student, meet with the college advisors at Manoa. So that is good to know. Do you guys have any other questions? Oh, yes. Okay, so we're the 80 students that get accepted for the DAP, just for the independent business program. I think.
Not really sure what you're referring to about the independent business program, but the 80 students that are accepted are from the application pool of applicants for the farm. And we, as a decision committee, will review it, all of your information that is provided on the application. And then this year, if you do not send in test scores, also your personal statement. And that is how invitations are then sent out and students can accept their invitation to the direct admit program.
Yeah, so, and then on the opposite side, is there any limit for going in the traditional route to business majors, or is there a cap to business majors?
So typically there isn't a cap. It's usually around the high 200s to 300 that are admitted per semester, the traditional route to. So that is definitely an option to gain access to Scheidler.
Okay, nice. Okay, so Brian, question for you. It says, since the direct entry to nursing is so competitive, what was the other option I could take if not selected?
So that would be the traditional programs. Basically, how you would apply is there's a whole different set of requirements for the traditional application, including prerequisite courses and additional entrance exam. So you would have to take the specific courses, meet the entrance exam requirements, and then submit your application. Again, the traditional program is much more competitive than the direct entry, with about 350 to 450 applications for that particular program and only about 12 to 15 seats available.
And then typically, how soon, if you're going the traditional route, how soon would you be able to apply? Because I know you have to take some courses. So is it like sophomore or?
So that would totally be dependent upon the actual individual, because if they didn't complete the prerequisites, they would not be eligible for application. So however long it takes them to complete the application requirements successfully would be on their end. Yeah.
I see. How many applicants are taken for transferring students? Maybe I think this might be a question for Brian for transfers coming into nursing.
So we don't have a specific set for transferring students. They're bulked into the traditional program. So altogether, any student who's not a direct entry student, whether they be continuing UH Manoa students or transferring students, they're all in that same pool of applicants. So again, 350 to 450 applications per year with about 12 to 15 spots available.
Any other questions for our guests, Shauna and Brian, about dental hygiene, nursing, or any of the business requirements? Yes, so again, if you have any questions, type it in the Q&A. Okay. Let's see. Can you still attend UH if you're not selected for the direct entry programs? I'll explain half. So yes, you can still come to Manoa. You would get accepted to Manoa first, and then we send the applicants or the applications to the specific colleges, and then they will make their decision about your major. But for admissions into the school, the university, that would be dependent on the admissions office. So you can get into the school, but not get into the major, but you can always get into the major later. And then if you wanted to add anything, Shauna.
So yes, you can definitely still attend the university. So what would happen is you would be considered an exploratory business student. And then once you complete your pre-business core classes, which include things like accounting, economics, your calculus, your English, then you are welcome to apply. So typically for most students, that would happen at the end of sophomore year, and then you're applying to Scheidler to start your junior year with us. And then I see another question: how competitive is the Scheidler College of Business? So for the direct admit program, typically we review about 300 applications each fall semester for the 80 spots. And then for our students coming in the traditional route, it's about 400 to 500 that are reviewed. And it's typically about 200 to 300 that are gaining admission the traditional route as well.
Okay, so there's one question about scholarships. Can you have more than one scholarship? So I'll answer for general, and then if business or nursing has their own policies about scholarships, then you can answer as well. So for Manoa, we actually don't put a cap onto how many scholarships you can get. So for admissions, after you're accepted, you can have access into STAR database, and that there's a lot of different things. That's how you register for classes, view your transcripts, all that stuff. But that's also where the scholarship database is. So you can apply for as many scholarships, and you can get as many scholarships as you need or want. There is one, I guess, restriction for the Office of Admissions. We do offer students something called the New Warrior Scholarships, and that is a separate application that you need to submit if you want to be considered for those scholarships. And for that set of 4 New Warrior Scholarships, you can only have one of the 4 because there's 4 options. So you can't have like New Warrior Scholarship number 1 and 2, just one of them. So that's the only restriction that we would have for admissions. And then I'm not sure if business or nursing has their own separate scholarships that you have policies on.
So at the Scheidler College of Business, we do the 1.2 million that is awarded annually. And so those scholarships, depending on what the funds are indicated by the donor to be used for, it is possible that you could get more than one. But usually it would be rare to have more than one business specific one. But we do have students who have some of the New Warrior scholarships and a Scheidler scholarship, and that's fine.
And then for nursing, it's basically the same as Scheidler. So we do have multiple scholarships that are available. We try to divvy it out as widespread as possible, but you can pair that up with a Manoa General Scholarship if possible, yes.
Okay, nice. And then there's another question. I wonder if this person had joined in a little bit after. Shauna, if you wouldn't mind just pulling up that slide about like the internship so that they can read the slide and see. The student is asking about what internship opportunities are available for Scheidler. And And specifically, for example, is there any like managerial focuses?
Okay, so let's see. We have the Internship and Career Services Office just for Scheidler. And so there are lots of opportunities that students can take part in an internship. This semester, for example, one of my freshmen, so in their first semester, is already doing an internship. He is working with a nonprofit organization. So students get to pick the company or organization that they want to work with. And then you would apply for that. So that's where some of this resume writing and interview preparation would benefit you before you graduate as well in preparing you for those internship interviews. I have another DAP student right now working with Central Pacific Bank in their corporate real estate division. So we actually have internships for all of our majors specifically. So if it is management that you're interested in, we have ones just for management. But you're also not restricted to that. So if you are a management major, but there's a marketing internship that looks really interesting to you, you could still take part in that. So there are definitely opportunities for all of our majors, but it doesn't restrict you.
Thanks, Shauna. Okay, so one more question. This one's a general one. When will the application for fall 2021 be looked at? So they're being reviewed right now. The application has been open for a few weeks. We opened it up in September and we are a rolling admissions basis. So as soon as you send it in, it will go up the chain to be processed. And so there are several steps in the processing phase until it gets to the evaluation phase. So overall, I would say the timeline, if it is before the priority deadline of January 5th, so if you submit it before then, the timeline is typically 4 to 6 weeks. If you submit it after the priority deadline in time for the final deadline of March 1st, that is during peak time. So that's when, everyone's like, oh, it's winter break, Thanksgiving, I need to submit it after the new year. So that's kind of the peak, and that timeline can expand and it can be possibly, up to 8 weeks. So since we are rolling, I would just say if you have all of your documents and things ready to go, I wouldn't wait. I would just submit it now, just so that you can get accepted earlier or reviewed earlier. And then one positive note that I will add, a little side tangent, if you get accepted earlier before the priority deadline, then that will put you in a good position, a good timeline to apply for scholarships, because in STAR, a lot of the scholarships happen in February and October. So for you coming in as an incoming freshman, you would be in time for the February deadlines. So you would apply before January, then after the new year, you have several months to apply for scholarships until it's due in February, and then once again for a scholarship due in March. So just to put yourself in a better situation scholarship wise, since we had that question earlier, the earlier the better. So the priority deadline is January 5th. So you want to get it in by January 5 or earlier. And then the final deadline to submit your application is March 1st. So if you want to be considered for admissions for the university, regardless of what major you want, just to get into the school, January 5 or March 1st or earlier. So thank you for that question. Okay, are there any other questions? Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention for the Scheidler Direct Admit Program, some students worry, oh, I got my acceptance to Manoa, but I didn't hear from the Direct Admit Program in that packet. That is normal. So what happens is you are accepted to the university first, and it's only then that your information is sent over to us to review. So any invitation to the Direct Admit Program would be later. Typically, we do not start reviewing until November, about mid-November. So don't be worried if you don't get it right away.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah, so especially if you want to be considered for any of the direct entry ones, I think the earlier the better, it sounds like. Okay. Because we are all working from home for your university acceptance letter, it will be a digital letter sent to your email that you put on your application. Okay, any other questions or? No? Okay. Well, let me just put up this slide. So if you do have any questions, you can send it to the admissions team. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so this is a QR code. So if you just open up your camera on your phone, you don't even have to take a picture, and you just hover it over, it will scan, and then you will be part of our email list. If you have any questions later on, you have their contact info, but if you want something more generally related to the university, then you can email us there. Okay, we have one last question. If I put that I'm interested in business and indicate that on my application and get accepted to Manoa, do I still have to write a personal statement for Scheidler? I believe it would be considered for DAP, right, Shauna?
So if you are interested in the direct admit program, so if you have test scores, you may not necessarily have to send in an essay. If you do not have test scores, then yes, we need the essay before we'll review your application for the direct admit program.
Perfect. All right. Yes, so if you don't have any other questions, feel free to log out or leave the webinar. That's all we have for you. So thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next webinar.